So we might kick off, eh? Let's get under. Let's get underway. Can now tell me?
There might be a stage where I have to stop because
Sure.
I might forget.
Okay, no, that's okay. So when were you born?
26th of the 5th, 1926.
26.
At Lismore,
Yeah.
in a hospital. The main part of Lismore,
Okay.
private hospital.
It was a private hospital. It was a
Yeah.
maternity hospital, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And you were number 5 in the family.
Yes.
What were the others in the family?
I'm number 5, and Lala was next to me.
Yep.
A little over 2 years between us, and then Bernard.
Barney.
Yeah, Barney.
Yep.
Yeah, and Bonnie.
Yep.
And Ashley.
Okay.
So I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters when I was born.
Okay.
So I was a bit of an output, see, because they had I was the 3rd girl.
Okay. I see. And then after you, there was.
After me, Gordon.
Yep.
Gordon, Jesse, John, Barry, Roy, and Neil.
Okay. All right. And there's a picture of your mother with Barney.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, with Ashley, along with Edith, your grandmother, and Harriet, your great grandmother.
Yes, that's right.
It's a beautiful photograph,
yeah,
that isn't it?
Beautiful photo, isn't it? Yeah.
So that was in 1918,
Yeah.
and your mum and dad were married a couple of years before that. What do you remember about what your father did before he was married? Do you remember anything about where?
Well, they had they had different. They were allotted different jobs for each day, and when they were allotted these things, they all meant to take in what they did that day because they were so short of workmen, and they thought if they did it that way, everybody'd know a little bit, and then they could all dog in and help one another, because we had to grow feed and everything, and also for the cattle and all they had to.
So this is when they were farming.
Yeah, and sugar and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And potatoes, they grew those and pumpkins and all lots of the
on the farm.
vegetable things that people used to just do it on their farms.
Yeah.
And there were lots of sheep around Wallingbar. There was quite a few lots of sheep, and a few sheep men came over from England, and they were sort of teaching a few Australians there near the experimental farm.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think we couldn't find anything in any books ever about it. But I can remember my grandfather telling me that. That was Grandfather Saul.
Yes. Okay.
I can remember talking about things like that.
Okay.
Which I haven't seen anything like that written up anywhere.
And they used to live nearby when you were at Wallingbar, didn't they? They lived at. Where did they live?
They lived out where they've got that wireless aerials and all that along there.
Yeah.
You went down on a road, and it was actually as if you were going straight to the big mountain, like that
Mount Warning.
Towards towards Queensland. You went down track like that, and they lived on the point of it like that.
Okay.
And now the doctors have been in there, and we've got about 4 doctors down there live there now.
Okay.
I was told that just recently. Yeah.
Okay, so they lived on a farm there.
Yes. Yeah. And it belonged to the James family.
Okay.
James, and then we bought our block of land in Ganelabar from one of those James children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Do you remember your grandmother getting bitten by a snake?
Yes. Yes.
What was that about?
Well, we were just going into the church, and the black snake bit her on the leg.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think we were going in, but then when I said that one day, I was corrected and said, no, we were coming out. but so I'm not too sure about that.
What do you remember? What they did? Did they wrap the leg? The minister
Well,
wrapped.
yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I can remember the like a little piece of some sort of rope. They pulled it off the back of a picture
Yeah.
off the wall,
Yeah.
and tied that round their leg. Now
Well,
that's what I saw, and that's what I do remember.
Okay. My understanding is that was the minister did that task, and what happened was that it got reported in the English newspapers.
Yeah, in the English newspaper. That's right. Yeah.
Which is a pretty good story, isn't it?
Well, the English ministers,
Yeah.
they weren't taught out here. They were taught in England. They all came. That trail sort of came along.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Okay, well, that was Edith and Arthur that lived out there, but their parents was Harriet and William Smith, and it was Harriet and John Edward Roberts, weren't they?
Yeah.
Where did they live? Do you remember where they lived?
Yeah, well, not a great deal, but I think they're somewhere quite close to that church.
Yes.
But I didn't ever think that I went there or whether I knew it, but I've just sort of told, or I imagined that maybe.
Yeah.
But they did live in Martin Street here,
Okay.
and it's only 2 blocks away from me,
Okay.
over that way a little bit. The house is still there. It's beautiful.
You mentioned to me that John, he actually had a heart attack or was sick when he was younger, and then he didn't work after that.
35, I think he was 35, and he never worked again.
But he lived till he was 99.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good-looking old man too. I think he just played bowls.
Did he?
I think so.
Oh, well, you should be playing
I
bowls.
remember him seeing bowls, playing bowls. I remember seeing him all dressed up in his blazer. They used to have a blazer.
Yeah.
Is that how your daughter? Is that your wife's talking to you?
No.
No, good.
No.
No.
Did you ever know at that stage that their parents, well, at least John Roberts' parents, were convicts? Did you know that?
Well, there was just some talk about it sometime, but I never ever heard the finish of it.
Yeah. Was that when you were young, or only recent times did you hear about that?
Actually, I think it was the place. It was the place we had a photo of us kids at Swan Bay, just before my great grandmother died.
Yeah, that was
and that was where that was mentioned.
Is that right?
One time,
Yeah.
And we had visitors, and they were somebody in the family, but I think it was my dad's Uncle Charlie and his family, and they were funny people.
Yeah.
Always for a joke, you know, and they talked about it. It just come out in a little bit of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So it was really interesting.
So John Roberts' parents were William Roberts and Agnes Macmillan, and both of them were convicts.
Yeah.
And there's actually a book out of which Agnes Macmillan is in it, and it's all her story. So.
Oh, I saw that Macmillan name in the paper one day, and it was in the paper.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd look in the phone book and see could I find it, and I might give them a call. You know, just it might bring out some funny little thing.
That's right. Now, on your father's side, your father's or your grandfather on the Watt side was Andrew and Jane.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about them?
Well, I've had all that refreshed.
Yes.
Because 2 or 3 houses up, one of these like this, she lives in number 5 and I'm number 13.
Yes.
She's my second cousin.
Is that right?
Yeah, and we go to this fun day of a Thursday, and she goes as well.
Okay.
And she's the same age.
Okay.
Only I'm 9 months older than her.
Okay. I understand that Andrew and Jane came up from the south coast of New South Wales, where they were born, and they came up and went to Caniba when they arrived.
Yeah, yes, they went to Canova, but I didn't know where they went to. But they used to live on a when you're going up the big hill, but it's not much like a hill now. But they that's where they came when they come up from down there. They all lived on an old house, but it's the lady told me recently it's all pulled down now.
Oh, okay, that was in
But
about
the family lived and they got married from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was in about 1912.
Yeah.
And they lived in a couple of places at Goonangarry and Rouse Mill and then Alstonville, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the kids are all spread around on those places.
Okay.
Yeah, their children.
And there was a couple of other of Ashley's brothers came up, was Uncle Arthur and Uncle John also came up.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah.
See that, we saw a lot of Uncle Arthur.
Yes.
And, but he just sort of passed away.
He used to come down and live, he lived at Swan Bay, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Lola and I used to swim in the river with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to go, he used to love having a swim with us.
Yeah, yeah. He had his own room at the side of the house
Yeah,
there,
that's
I
right,
remember.
yeah. Yeah,
I remember that.
Did.
So,
And he loved fishing.
yeah, so when you were younger, where was the first place you lived? Was that Wallingbar? Was that the farm at Wallingbar?
Where I was born at Wallingbar, and
Yeah.
it's when you go past a service station on the left-hand side. You just get past that, just around the little corner, and there's they've built a little fence. I don't know why they've done it, but there's a little fence inside the paddock there now, and on the outside near the road there was just down like about 20 or 30 yards down there. There's a place like as if there's been a great big gate.
Yes.
And it's still there, and it's also opposite the experimental farm.
Yeah.
Well, that was our gate into. That's where our house was there, fairly close to the.
You can still see the dairy there, can't you?
Yes.
From the road.
Yeah, it's out. It's down on down amongst the trees now.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll have to get a
Yeah.
tissue. I'll just get a tissue. I haven't got one.
Okay.